the church Scientology is so afraid of.
This is SPTV.
Hello guys, welcome back to another live streaming that we're going to do today. We got ourselves our Mexican lemonade, and some of you have been asking, like, what in the literal hell am I calling a Mexican lemonade? So you definitely squeeze limes, not lemons, okay? So in Mexico, we call lemons, we call them limes. So I grew up being told in Mexico that lemons were limes, and it's one of those idiosyncrasies that I cannot get out of my head. I can only see like the green limes are always lemons to me. So, but here is a secret ingredient, you guys. Forritos pulpa. So this is what makes a Mexican lemonade a Mexican lemonade. So you just put just a little bit of this, and it's basically chamoy, which is it's like a candy that we used to have as children in Mexico. So it's like my new adult bottle, you know. And it's all healthy. It's only got lemons. I put a tiny little bit of agave in that. And then, oh, so good. So, the title of this live, you guys, is Behind Every Predator, a Circus of Scientology Enablers. And this is a video that has been requested. A lot of you guys are very engaged in our community and leaving all manner of really good questions. You guys always make me think and make us think, because as you see, there's as you see at the end of the description, and we're going to read through it, it's kids of Scientology. So we're talking to a lot of kids of Scientology right now, you guys, and more of them keep reaching out and discussing heartbreaking things. This is an everyday thing. Every day you find out something more disgusting and horrific. Every day you find out more abuse that has been covered up. So there's a lot of them that are feeling heard for the very first time by all of you, holding space and having these lives. So that is definitely really good steps in the very good directions. So that's all positive news. But going back to like our comments in our community, we're being asked, like, it's still very confusing to people what actually takes place inside the hotels. Like, everybody is so confused and they don't understand why in the hell I'm calling it a hotel. Sometimes I still get asked that question, like, Serge, why do you call it a hotel? And you know what? My answer is always, why do you call it a church? I mean, it's a literal hotel. So we're calling it what it is, right? It's got a reception. It's got a bellboy. It's got a check-in time. You get a key to your room. You go and sleep there. They come and give you room service if you want. I mean, all of those services are available at the Manor Hotel at Celebrity Center, you guys, for all the big, amazing celebrities that Hollywood has for itself. Isn't that nice that we have so many celebrities here in Los Angeles? So amazing. We are really, really, really amazed. I think that's a good way to say it. So thank you for your support to all the kids of Scientology and anyone else that is watching these videos under the radar. You're welcome to reach out to us on Instagram, on TikTok, and here. You can also reach us by email, sergedelmar@proton.me. And we're working on a lot of proactive steps that we can all take, you guys, because we've also been hearing your feedback that you're all extremely depressed and extremely like, what in the literal hell? And, we can't just come here and give you all the bad news because that's what the corporate media does. Overwhelm everyone with all this BS sensational crap about how you really should pay attention to this. We really have the breaking news. We really want to keep your attention. And we're just like, not about that. We want to help all kids stuck inside those hotels get out safely. And the day that all the kids that are stuck inside those hotels under 21 and under are out safely, then we won't have to have a reason to keep blabbing our mouth. Right, you guys? We'll talk about other stuff. Well, and that's also coming up because, we're doing some really cool art collaborations. One of my artist friends was inspired by our lives, you guys. And look, here's a spine for every single person that has left the hotel without one. Very, very soon, you'll be able to get one. And it's all just, we're going to be having a spine for the corporate media or Hollywood elites that want to put fake apology videos full of ridiculous falsehoods that PR crisis managers are going to say, oh yeah, you really should sound very apologetic. And that's all it takes to bamboozle everybody because no one will follow up. And before you know it, in 2 weeks, everything will be so clean. Everyone will forget everything. America has moved on to other disasters. So we have a spine in our hand in case anyone really is missing one. Send an SOS and we'll figure out how to get a spine to you. And this is the statement. In the darkest corners of society, where predators lurk, there exists a sinister circle of enablers. And nowhere is this more evident than within the complex web of Scientology. This clandestine organization, draped in secrecy and cloaked in manipulation, not only harbors predators, but actively cultivates them while producing countless victims in its wake. As we delve into the chilling underbelly of Scientology, we peel back the layers of deception to expose the intricate mechanisms that enable and empower predators to thrive. The toxic environment within Scientology hotels, where children are groomed, gaslighted, and subjected to unthinkable, unimaginable abuses, serves as a breeding ground for the very monsters it claims to protect against. In this unapologetic conversation, we confront the disturbing reality that behind every predator produced by Scientology, there's an entire network of enablers, complicit in their crimes, literally paid accomplices. So for all of you in law enforcement that are sleeping and snoring, start taking MF notes. These enablers, whether coerced, whether manipulated, or whether willingly blind, contribute to the to the perpetuation of the cycle of abuse that poisons the lives of countless victims, including but not limited to defenseless kids who are not adults in small bodies whatsoever. Repeat, kids are not in any way, shape, or unimaginable form literally adults in small bodies. So for any Scientology adult that wants to pitch that in this year 2023, watch what in the hell you're pitching. Because you will be held accountable now for really holding that belief that you're entitled to hold. Apparently, per the Constitution, you can hold that disgusting belief in your head. But guess what? The minute y'all act, you'll be out of luck. Because people are finding out what in the hell you do when you go around selling that garbage lie to every last Scientology parent that has really bought that pitch and taken it serious AF, you guys. So we just posted a video where we're literally pleading with all Scientology parents. If you are a Scientology father and mother, guess what? Y'all are gonna go in what it's called in the news cycle when shit is real complex, you guys. When everyone's like, what in the literal hell? Everything is so complex. Y'all are gonna go here. This is called a bucket. Okay, so we're gonna make this so clear, explain it so simple, so that none of y'all can play dumb. That's all. That's all we want. We want the stupidity to end, and we want the stupidity to end quickly. So that's your bucket. So if you are a Scientology mother, you go here. And if you are a Scientology dad, you also go here. And now guess what else? If you're a Scientology grandmother, you also go here. And then if you are a Scientology grandfather, you also literally go here, you guys. All of these people go in the same literal bucket. So this bucket is very general. This applies to Sea Org members. This applies to non-Sea Org members. This applies to literally if you just rolled up and you're really thinking about putting your kid in there. Now the next bucket, and that's what we're going to get into the weeds of in this video, is going to be the next bucket of this circus of clown enablers of systemic institutional abuse against 21 and unders. And that is the bucket of the executives. Now, don't for a minute think, you guys, that Scientology only has one executive. Because that's what you call in Scientology false data. So let's really use that term, okay? So stop putting your false data, Scientology executives, spreading it all around, false data, so that everybody gets very confused. Because what we have with these buckets, what we're going to do with the buckets, you guys, we're going to go like this, bucket of executive Scientology and grandparents. And in case you're wondering why we're putting the grandparents in a bucket, now this only applies if you're a Scientology grandparent, you know? Oops, I have the executives. This only applies if you're a Scientology grandparent, you guys, because the grandparents are also being used by the executives to lure the kids. You know, my grandma, Rosa Maria Rodriguez, who did get recruited from Mexico, you guys, who did get trafficked into the country. Never mind that she was an adult, but my grandma that got defrauded as well was one of the main reasons that I never in a million years thought that I was going to be abused in such disgusting, dehumanizing ways. So, because of that, we need to make a point that the grandparents are also being used to purport that these hotels that, I mean, they're questionably even 21 and under, but if y'all really want to go and sign up to have not a shred of boundaries inside those hotel rooms for yourselves and the sessions that you really do love, that write all manner of success stories, then that's cool. You know, we cannot do anything to stop y'all. So unfortunately, the grandparents also lure kids, also make the kids think that, oh yeah, my grandma's into this, my mom, my dad, my uncle, my cousin, everyone's in this. Like, we're all the same. We're all here. We're all one. But that little joke that's being played on all those families is being outed in 2 literal buckets of Post-its. Because that's all it takes, you guys. Everybody pretends it's so complicated. Oh my God. Nobody knows what to do. Nobody knows anything. We cannot understand a thing. The executives and the parents make a deal. Get it? These two go, oh, hey, you have a kid? Great. Let's make sure he does fill out all this paperwork, like pages and pages of paperwork. Where's your grandparents? Who's your mother? Who's your dad? Who's your uncle? Where do they work? Are they at the CIA? Are they at the FBI? Are they anywhere like that? And then when they collect all this information, they go, oh my God, your kid is so qualified. You have an amazing 12-year-old. Let's really find a post that L. Ron Hubbard would think would be amazing for that kid. Like maybe ethics officer. Maybe that would be a great post since he's just an adult in a small body. Let's make the 12-year-old the ethics officer. Because aren't we just such full of amazing ideas here in these hotels? These deranged, disgusting, despicable, utterly grotesque hotels from hell. Where, you know, all manner of adults, all manner of grandparents, all manner of fathers and mothers are fully in on it. So a lot of mothers have come out since, and we just heard from a kid who contacted us, you know, that, you know, the mother was like, oh yeah, they really took my daughter. Poor me, poor me. I'm such a bad victim here. The Scientology mother who had literally disseminated her own daughter, you guys. But now the daughter was attacking her because the handlers of Scientology were making her attack her, and now the mom is playing victim. Isn't it sad? Should we all get Kleenex boxes and start, you know, really throwing a lot of tissues around? Because I'm telling you, like, that's about as much shred of patience than the kids that really did suffer this are experiencing for themselves in this year 2023. You know, we have had a rocky decade where literally everybody has been, you know, allegedly having an awakening of conscience. Never mind that apparently all awakenings of conscience, you guys, seem to come without a shred of accountability or a shred of transparency. And, you know, they did teach us in those hotels that in order to get out of a condition, you know, let's call this a criminal condition, since they did take it upon themselves to launder all manner of felonies. So in this case, their criminal condition, they think that going like that outside of a hotel, walking the threshold, here's the hotel, and then they go like this. Oh, they leave the spine there, and then they go, la, 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 la. I'm so changed. I'm so wonderful. I really did make a mistake. Never mind that my child's still stuck in the hotel, but you know, she's attacking me now. So that mother knows exactly who she is, I'm sure, you guys, if she even can stomach watching our videos, because we're also finding out that not a lot of adults are wanting to watch our videos, which is really sad, because you know what? It'd be great for them to actually put their own ethics in. I mean, that was taught in the hotel. Put your ethics in. That's what they called it. Do your condition, do your steps. If you're a criminal, you got to do steps to redeem. You know, in Scientology, they did tell you that. You know, once they found you criminal and liable in one of their kangaroo courts, they did tell you and gave you programs with literally step, like steps like that, like literally just hundreds of steps, and read this and read that and prove that you've done it and da 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 da. And then guess what else they had to do, guys? This. A ton of amends. Amends, make more amends, 100-hour amend project, 300-hour amend project, very sort of like community service from the courts, you know. You're going to have to do 600 hours of amends. Okay, well, now in your own time, you have to figure out your own time and make those amends. That's what we heard from one of these kids that was put to do 200 hours of amends. So, not cool that no one wants to make amends once they leave the hotel. Not cool. Not cool that people are just like, you know, not taking accountability as adults. Literally. You know, Debbie Cook and Marty Rathbun want to take not a single scintilla of accountability. And so does Angie Blankenship, you guys. And you're going to find out a little bit as we continue to get into the weeds of their positions, how they were very much clowns in their own circles of enablers. That's what we're going to get into. So keep in mind those two buckets, executives and parents that signed up their kids to become pawns inside those hotels, to be emancipated, fully knowing very well. These parents didn't not ever have not seen the Sea Org, you guys. Like they had known the Sea Org, they knew what it was. I mean, my parents literally knew that once my grandma was made to be a supervisor there and die of breast cancer, stage 4 breast cancer, Rosa Maria Rodriguez, who wasn't allowed to go to the hospital, who wasn't allowed to get her breast checked after she found a lump. She was sent to do a PTS handling by Debbie Cook. Go figure out why you're roller coastering. You were doing so well a year ago, and now if you have this problem, it really sounds like you are a roller coaster case, is what my grandma was told. So why don't you handle your PTSness and stop being a potential trouble source when you really should be making us $50,000, $60,000 to $100,000 a week? And, you know, if any of you want to ask if she had insurance, no. She had not a shred of insurance. And that's what these executives that did sign them up to work at their hotel would act really pressed, you know, because breast cancer is not cheap to treat, you guys, especially without insurance. And shout out to all you out there that are survivors of breast cancer. Shout out to y'all. So you would know the type of financial affliction that got created from my grandma having stage 4 breast cancer, being told to handle her potential trouble source, to literally figure out in her head what kind of 2D perversion. Somebody asked the other day, like, oh, aren't Scientologists, what do they believe about cancer? Well, they believe that you are some sort of sexual perversion, L. Ron Hubbard said in some sort of stupid tape. So that's what my grandma was told. You're perverted. You're a potential trouble source for us. You were doing so well last year. What in the hell's wrong with you? And then they proceeded to not allow her to go get checked out until just one day. They had literally not a shred of choice. And then she did. And then she couldn't come back to supervise anymore, because once she got to a doctor, they were literally like, what in the literal hell is going on? And why have you waited so long? And of course, my grandma had to just be, oh, whatever, we can't really tell you what's going on, what we're being told in that hotel. We cannot tell you anything because we will get in a lot of trouble. So I don't know. I guess I didn't notice. That's what my grandma shared with me when I was made to do her assist, you guys, because before joining the Sea Org, my grandma was dying. And then my parents told me that I had to do assist on my grandma once they chopped off her breast. So I was there like, what, 14, 15, I think. Being adulticized, told that, yeah, feel my finger, feel my finger, feel my finger. So then my grandma and I would just literally like pretend we were doing the assist and just actually have communication. So she and I did break some rules, and we don't give a fuck. And at least those were these really, really good moments to share with my grandma, because you know what? When she and I were not in that stupid hotel, we could actually have a relationship. So I did get to spend quality time with her. I did get that for myself, thank God. But again, she was also used to lure me into the hotel, because she was thinking, well, how great that you're going to go be part of this hotel. How do I explain that, right? Like, how do you reconcile those things? Like, she loved me, she cared for me, but she was promoting the hotel where she wasn't being allowed to go get her breast cancer checked. So the victimization of seniors could not be any more real, you guys, because they did not have the spine to fight off the disgusting adult clown executives, commanding officers of hotels, nothing else. They were just pathetic clowns from hell that wouldn't even take care of their own. Isn't that strange, you guys? Like, isn't that being in a group what it's all about? Well, yeah, let's really take care of our own. Well, in those hotels, they didn't. And it's very important that no more seniors and no more kids get harmed by these people. So let's explain to you guys really quick here how all of these people become part of this scheme and scam of disgusting depravities. So here is what the hotel looks inside. Okay. We have executive director all the way here at the top. I'm sure you guys can see executive director. So guess who was the executive director when I was inside those hotels, you guys? It was Debbie Cook. And if y'all haven't seen Debbie Cook or don't know who in the literal hell she is, Debbie Cook is the woman that did take it upon herself to sue Scientology or countersue. I know Scientology sued her because she wrote a BS letter talking about how L. Ron Hubbard is amazing, L. Ron Hubbard is the great, but chairman of the board is really asking for a lot of donations, and that couldn't be more off policy. So imagine being Debbie Cook, the one that wouldn't send my grandma to the doctor, the one that went wah, wah, wah on national TV, how she really was put in a trash can for a few weeks. And that was very inconvenient for her. And the one that is, cashing checks as we speak. And the one that is literally at the top of that food chain where it says executive director, you guys, that's the top. That's the person that is literally almighty, all powerful, all overseeing, the overlord of the slaves beneath her. Everybody had to call Debbie Cook sir. Even though she was a woman, nobody gave a shred of an F. In this slave master little system that they got going on for themselves there, they really did think it was a great idea to call all women sirs and Mr. So remember how we saw that whole thing, you guys, yesterday about coercive control is done by depersonalizing people? Well, bingo. Debbie Cook could have not been any more depersonalized, couldn't have been more deranged out of her literally living head without a shred of scruple, because, as a 35, 40-year-old woman that I knew when I was there, she really took herself seriously to be called sir and Mr. by everyone. Every woman and child, man and child, had to call that woman sir and Mr. Cook. And she really did call herself Lieutenant Commander. Imagine. I mean, you guys have seen The Maiden's Tale by Elizabeth Moss that is playing that joke. I mean, that is also to give you guys a parallel. We do thank you, Elizabeth, for doing that joke at our expense, because it's coming in handy right about now for all of you who are not understanding how women are here, children are there, then the overlord, whatever, never mind that Elizabeth chose a man to really, talk about the patriarchy. Here it was women, you guys, at least at the flag service organization, Clearwater Hotel. Leadership was mostly women because, they loved being David's whatevers. They couldn't have been more proud of their damn selves because David loved his women sadistic AF. If Debbie Cook would have not been sadistic, you guys, just like Julian Schwartz that we've covered ad nauseum, then Debbie Cook literally would have had her head handed to her. Oh, here you go, Debbie. Bye-bye. You're not proving yourself to be unreasonable. I mean, these people went for unreasonable, you guys. I mean, literally, kid you not, this is what they called it. Stop being reasonable, and you need to be unreasonable. So, unreason. Like, don't use your reason, and that's really great. And be unreasonable. Don't have a shred of scruples. And that is amazing. Yay! You're such a great executive, Debbie Cook. You're so unreasonable. You don't take any excuses. You don't have a shred of scruples. So that's really great. So you see how like the derangement happens, you guys. And again, Debbie Cook, pawn that she was. Julian Schwartz, pawn that he is. I mean, anyone in the comments could have ended up in those hotels being scammed. And you could have found yourself somewhere in this org board that we put here for you all to see. You could have been the executive director. You could have been the OES, the organizational executive secretary. You literally could have ended up being also the communications. Let me see if I can. I think like it's too hard to see if we make it big, right? The communications. Well, you can kind of. I mean, no, I don't know how to make it bigger. I wanted to give you like a closer look of it, but here we go. Let's see. Yeah, so you could have become the communications executive secretary, and you would have been overseeing this division 7. So let's go over what in the literal hell division 7 is. But first of all, just make sure that you understand that executive director is here, and then communications executive secretary is here. Okay. And this person is called the deputy. So it's like basically like Debbie Cook has all the power in the world and the universe. And we'll talk about like Simon Boulevard another day, but that's really who L. Ron Hubbard tapped to really like mold his ideas of power. Let's really think how Simon Boulevard, the depraved, sadistic killer of Indians and indigenous people and disgusting criminality, is really the person that we really all should think about. But let's not digress, because basically Debbie Cook thought herself Simon Boulevard, Mr. that Debbie Cook was, Sir Debbie Cook Bolivar. She thought she was that woman, you guys. Very unhinged and very sadistic. Communication executive secretary. So then she had somebody here, and she had an Italian man called, I mean, now realize, you guys, this is also, I know I'm really getting into the weeds of this shit, but whatever, right, guys? This is also a watered down organizational board that we're seeing, okay, guys? So never mind that it's pretty much the same, and I will tell you the titles that they came up for their Sea Org only Sea Org board, because then all the titles change, okay? They don't want the public to see their clownery. They're ashamed, they're embarrassed, those executives, because they know that they are nothings outside the world, but they are the lieutenant commanders of a lot of things inside those hotels. So Lieutenant Commander Debbie Cook, then she would call this communication executive secretary, you know, the supercargo. The supercargo inside a hotel. Isn't that interesting, you guys? Literally the supercargo. So what is the hell supercargo watching? The executives. So he's in charge of all the executives. Then he's in charge of all the Division 1, which is all the ethics people, and all the Division 2, which is where they make their money. Make that money. Make that money. Literally every week, you need to make $2 million. Hey, let's go. Let's make $2 million. Call more people, get more money, get more money, get more money. Ad literal nauseum, you guys. Like without a shred of scruples. Again, like, because, you know, going back to my grandma's stories, like these people would make $2 million a week, but have not a shred of dollar to spend on the people dying of cancer. And we're bringing up my grandma, guys, but, you know, you see Matt Pesh that he's posting other, you know, senior people that are passing that we don't know. They all get sent to like these horrendous, disgusting, decrepit homes. When they're done with you, they just leave you like roadkill. Like, okay, just don't die inside our hotel, because then we can't fool the Clearwater police that does come in and see where the body died. And then, you know, they might need to like use their critical thinking skills instead of just showing up to defend them every time they call somebody to trespass, right? So, you know, you do have to give it up to Debbie Cook, because she knew how to hide all of her shit real well. But, you know, Debbie Cook wasn't working alone, you guys. Tons of enablers. This is the circus. This is what we're in the hell we're talking about. So here she is, Debbie Cook, putting a supercargo here, okay, communications, whatever. watching over the money, watching over the ethics, and watching over the executive division, Division 7. And here's where you're going to find OSA. OSA is going to be here. You know, you have Office of Source. Okay. And what in the literal hell is Office of Source is the LRHCOM. And that's Liz Ferris. Okay. That was her mom. That was one of these executives. So Liz Ferris was the L. Ron Hubbard communicator. And the L. Ron Hubbard communicator did a whole lot of nothing, you guys, because again, all these posts are made up, but they all have sort of like the same purpose: oversight, handle, crisis manage, write reports, because you really want to help the world. Just write and write and write reports about all manner of stupidity going on in the hotel, because they really purport to be very efficient. They really want everything to be efficient. Every week they're looking for inefficiencies. So those are kind of like the stuff that the so-called L. Ron Hubbard, you know, communicator would do. And then you have Office of External Affairs. And there's really where you have, like, you know, Kathy True and Catano and Sarah Heller. And notice how I just rolled out 3, but you know, you do have Ben Shaw. So you do, and you do have Glenn Stylo working there, you know, faking all the visas for all the minors and arranging all the marriages with the minors and the adults, you know, all again coordinated with Debbie Cook, you guys. So it's all very, very coordinated. This is why these people were, you know, a team. A team has a tendency to know what each other is doing and thinking and coordinates thereby and therewith. And that is the definition of a team. It is people who cooperate one with another to push forward a common purpose, and they normally get along great. So every Thursday, Debbie Cook would sit there and, like a clown that she was, would literally have us chanting that stupidity over and over and over and over. So we really would act as a team. You know, never mind that the definition went out the window the minute my grandma had the breast cancer. Like literally then, oh, no more of a team. Go figure it out. We really will help you. We'll send you to Tijuana because, you know, we found out that Tijuana has really great things for you to do there. So let's send her out of the country real quick. And, you know, maybe she can just die in Mexico, because then it's like, you know, we kill 2 birds with 1 stone. Isn't that the saying, guys? I just killed 2 birds with 1 literal stone. I send the woman that's dying of breast cancer to Tijuana, then she just dies there. I pay everything in dollars to, you know, to pesos, because it's so much cheaper to really do medical stuff over there. I'm not saying that the Mexican people don't know what in the hell they're doing. You know, maybe they would have known. Maybe they could have helped her if she wasn't stage 4, but never mind. And there she was, you know, dying in Mexico, away from her family, away from her loved ones, because they really wanted to help her medically by sending her to another country. I mean, I don't know if that's trafficking, but maybe, right? I don't know. Maybe leave it in the comments if we ever get one of these legal experts to watch our videos. We'll let you guys know what they say. So yeah, so here you have external affairs that is ad nauseum screening the entire hotel 24/7, 365 for danger, danger, danger. We just found out this flap. We just data mined this information. We just found out about this. We just got the report. The whole time, everyone's spying on everybody, right? So it's not like nobody knows what in the hell's going on inside the hotels. They're all spying on the people that are coming inside the hotel to get serviced. So the Office of Special Affairs conducts attacks on us, the ones that tell them no. They demonize us. They say that we're really disgusting and we're degraded and we're pathetic. And why don't we just move on with our lives? And they try to fair game us, and they do, and they kill our pets, and, you know, they do all manner of things. But, you know, lucky for us, we are adults in adult bodies. We can defend and will defend ourselves and have a ton of, you know, crisis management things in place finally, so that we don't have to be just paranoid all the time and can take care of ourselves as adults. We were in danger when we were kids. So for all of you under the radar that are going on, not the kids, the adults, I'm really, really scared of the fair game or whatever. Well, you know what? Stop being scared. Stop being scared. You should be scared of the consequences of keeping your big mouth shut while kids suffer. That should give you nightmares. Not what stupid Catano and Sarah Heller, another kid, very Julian style. We'll see if we find a photo of her, you guys. Sarah Heller, the one that goes and meddles in every last legal shred. Like, you know, as much as everyone says, oh yeah, Julian Schwartz are really depraved. Well, you know what? There's Sarah Heller in Florida. There's Sarah Heller, Florida, that literally is at the Clearwater Police all the time, checking who's complaining, and the Clearwater Police just handing her all manner of information because, you know what, it's a free country, and the Clearwater Police really wants to really help the people that are doing this. All of the dysfunction that I just spoke about is what the Clearwater Police is all about. Isn't that nice? Isn't that just so nice, you guys? So yeah, so you have the Office of Special Affairs there, where Debbie Cook meets with these people all the time, you guys. Every week they have a perimeter council meeting. Okay, so perimeter council is, and we'll get further down the road of this org board, but perimeter council is, these people sit down on a desk inside a hotel room, convert it into a conference room, and they really just go, okay, what could really get us into trouble this week? So what do you have? And they write it down. Everyone's there. It's a big conference. There's 20 of them in there talking about this. So whenever anybody says that, oh, nobody had a shred of a clue about anything, nobody had a share of a clue about Danny, those Jane Does really like came out of nowhere because, you know, 20 years ago, they didn't say anything, or they did say it, but, you know, we didn't meddle and we didn't obstruct. And apparently the LAPD found not a shred of reason to, you know, make him part of the criminal trial. Because I guess, you know, literally administering law without a license inside a hotel does not raise a shred of flag in these United States courts. Apparently, everyone is just happy to let children such as Miranda Scoggins, that was working with Julian Schwartz, administering the so-called ethics handlings on Danny Masterson, to, you know, have at it. Apply your 2-week course inside a hotel. You know, maybe they're very happy that, you know, they can really outsource their legal stuff to that hotel. Maybe that's why the LAPD is like, if it wasn't for you guys, we would have so much more work to do. But since you really do apply law without a license after a 2-week course inside a hotel, and you do have minors doing that, then we have nothing to worry about, right? So here we go on the Office of the Executive Director. So this was Debbie Cook's own office. Okay. So we already went over, you had the Office of External Affairs, which is the OSA office. And then you have the Office of Source, which is L. Ron Hubbard's office, because they're very pressed to give an office for the dead convicted felon. They really wanted to make sure that he had a desk, empty office, grandiose, whatever, inside these hotels, so that, when people would walk around, be like, well, is he there? Is L. Ron Hubbard there? Like, they're always making a show out of his office. But let's get back to Debbie Cook's office, which is where she had, for her own damn self, you guys, like, Debbie Cook is such a hypocrite, is unbelievable, because she did have several communicators. Debbie Cook, the big hotel executive that she was. There was a girl named Emma that was brought from England. Imagine that, another one from England, a la Claire Headley. Let's bring this other girl from England, really beautiful girl. Her mom was also in the Sea Org. She was also raised in the Cadet Org. She was also in that disgusting Quality Inn, literal hotel, Quality Inn hotel. I mean, shout out to Quality Inns, you guys. Have you stayed at a Quality Inn? Let it leave it in the comments. And hey, no shade. Trust me, this Quality Inn in Clearwater that Debbie Cook had, you wouldn't even stay there if that was the last place you could ever find for yourselves on earth to stay. So let's just kind of make that point very clear, because those hotels, as Astra Woodcraft and Zoe Woodcraft already are in the public record telling us, were infested with cockroaches. Literally cockroaches running around, and that is where the kids really needed to be, because the millionaires, the multi-millionaire slave that Debbie Cook was, because she wasn't collecting more than supposedly $50 a week for herself, you guys. Never mind that she padded her salary in other ways. She had a really beautiful apartment at the hacienda. She had, these girls that we're going to get into, like Emma, that was like, do this, Emma, do that, do that. I don't want to do this. You do it. Get it done. Bring it back to me all done. And that was literally like the literal tone that these women spoke to their slaves that were minors. And guys, we talk about like Nexium and this, and isn't it so similar, and isn't so this. Nexium was not using children at scale. Nexium was not doing that. Yes, some kids got abducted. Some kids from Nexium got really, really effed over. But we're talking about hundreds and hundreds of kids that were stuck inside these hotels, being put into slave master relationships, inappropriate AF slave master relationships with so-called women that called themselves commanders of something, when they couldn't have been more child trafficking Ghislaine Maxwell's on steroids. Because even Ghislaine, I mean, she arranged some massages here and there, and she did a lot of horrendous, disgusting stuff. And that's why she's rotting in jail for the rest of her life, because they did catch her, one person. And everyone should be so applauding the law, because, we really did do a lot to really catch one woman. Never mind that, Ghislaine must be pissed because, she's keeping her big fat mouth shut AF, but, she's not getting the payment program that Debbie Cook is in. Debbie Boykin was another one of these women that we'll talk about later, but let's stay on Debbie Cook. So you have here the entire executive division, the external people from OSA, literally finding out every last shred of nauseating thing going on and really sharing it with everybody, really sharing it among themselves. So, and it's all written. So just so you guys understand, sees that the technology and the policy of the organizations are formulated exactly in the case of a company, right, in the case of the company, but do you see how they're talking about technology and they're talking about the policies, guys? And this is another thing. This is a hotel. This is a technological hotel these people are a part of. I mean, very tech bro of L. Ron Hubbard to really like, come up with his ridiculous e-meter, torture machine e-meter that he devised for himself, that disgusting felon. And now everyone was applying technology, meaning no one has a shred of plausible deniability. Right, guys? Because if the technology says, do step 1, incriminate, do step 2, charge money, do step 3, float the needle, easy as 1, 2, 3, just like that, then was this all Debbie Cook's fault? Was this all Julian Schwartz's fault? Was this all Sarah Heller's fault? I mean, Julian and Sarah, since they were literally cadets stuck inside those hotels without a shred of capacity to have one critical thinking skill for themselves, L. Ron Hubbard canceled them. And then Debbie Cook went around. Oh, looks like you're having critical thinking skills. Put her in ethics, send her to HCO, get her interrogated. Stop being critical is what they would tell us. Don't be critical. Don't be critical of anything. You cannot criticize these people, you guys. Like, literally, this tiny spine is probably the size of all of the spines of all of these, big hotel executives that they were not. Literally like this, like pathetic little small spines. I mean, who else would think of themselves like that? Who else would come out and 10 years later plus still collecting checks and not a single peep of transparency that's come out of Debbie Cook? So as much as you see here this jargon of the technology and the office and the communication and all of this, it's all organized crime. It's very, very organized is what it is. The only difference is that it's super organized. And it's organized in such a way, you guys, that again, L. Ron Hubbard didn't give a shred of an F for his stupid underlings. He wanted them incriminated. He wasn't looking out for their best interests. He wasn't looking out for, oh, I really gonna write a memo and maybe you might end up in jail because you really will follow this memo and I really will make it illegal for you to question anything. So before you know it, you're in there offering Danny Masterson to float self-admitted, you know exactly what in the hell we mean. And you will get it all cleared. So perfect segue to Division 1. Division 1, you guys, communication secretary. Doesn't that just sound so great and nice? And communication, we're all about the communications here. So it is an interesting number and name when you think about it, because communication is what these people were all about. Communicating about their crimes, communicating about how they were going to commit the crimes, communicating about how they were going to launder the crimes, communicating about who committed the crimes, the felonies, the literal felonies that we have on the literal website of RTC. Yo, if you committed a felony, really write it down. Because again, the Department of Justice, who has not a shred of budget, you guys, to Google anything for themselves. So, maybe we should do a fundraiser, you guys. Maybe we should do a fundraiser and just start sending these people money so that they can Google, right? Because I think like maybe their bandwidths are like literally collapsing. They're just so underfunded. They have no people to help them do anything at the Department of Justice. But you know who does have a ton of money? Turns out, Thorne. Isn't that interesting, you guys? The private sector, Thorne, gets up millions and millions and millions to really resolve nothing. And then the Department of Justice doesn't have a shred of support or help, allegedly. Or maybe they do, and they're still just, playing dumb too, somehow. Don't ask us how, but literally in this year 2023, we don't see anything but Bozos the Clown. And then that clown from It. I really hated that clown. That was a movie that gave me nightmares when I was a kid, you guys. But I did read the book, and it was very scary. So here you got the communication secretary and Department of Routing and Personnel. So, yay, this is where Ghislaine Maxwell really had a ton of recruiters. Oops, did we just say Ghislaine Maxwell? No, sorry, I meant to say Debbie Cook had recruiters, including but not limited to minors, including but not limited to my cousin Brenda Gonzalez, second cousin of mine, Brenda Gonzalez, also trafficked from Mexico into the United States, also signed up to be a minor, also signed up to work for Debbie Cook, also put here on this, recruitment office. Also didn't have a visa, also was offered one by Glenn Stylo. So do you guys get how everyone is just glib AF in the corporate media? So there was Brenda, and there was No Magosi, and there was just so many amazing, hot, young recruiters that were so scammed. Is actually nauseating when you really think about it, you guys. Because these recruiter kids, they didn't know what in the hell they were doing. Once they got signed up for that, they were scammed it. They were owned. They couldn't change their mind. They couldn't say, well, wait, what? I'm going to have to yell at people to join. I'm going to lie to them to tell them that the world's really going to end and everything's going to explode in a minute. Oh, hell no. They were not allowed to complain. They were not allowed to have critical thinking skills. It was very, very frowned upon in Debbie Cook's hotel. That's the hotel I was in, you guys. So I know this is, nobody really talks about the Fort Harrison Hotel, but, there's not been a lot of FSO people that have been talking about what is in the hell's going on and how everything was coordinated criminal activity at scale, that everything was premeditated, that everything was known about, that everything was data mined, that everybody knew everything, that thanks to L. Ron Hubbard's 8CO division, and you see how division 1 is a little bit raised over here, you guys, it's like just a little bit higher than these other two. Well, guess why that was? Because again, everything inside those hotels was contingent on delusions of grandeur and power trips. So if you were one of the ethics people by default, because L. Ron Hubbard raised this stupid yellow thing here 1 inch higher, all of a sudden that really did register in these people's heads. And they were like, I'm part of HCO. I'm so much higher than everyone else. I'm so much more senior is what they called it. I'm sure that when Monique Yingling got a hold of this, she did tell them, call them seniors and juniors. Don't call them slaves and masters. Because if, the IRS finds out that we're operating as a slave master society, then they're going to lose a lot of face. And then I'm going to look bad with my friends of the IRS that are really doing me a solid by getting this 501c approved. And then I might lose my law license. So let me not do that, because I'm Monique Yingling, the brainiac, legal brainiac of Washington University Legal Law School that has a Frankenstein on the loose called Monique Yingling. that has not reined her in a shred, even though this joke is all over the public record. But I guess, universities are not liable if they create Frankensteins, you guys. That's what we're finding out. So here's the recruitment office of Debbie Cook, where she did take it upon herself to staff it with a ton of minors, very good looking minors, to really go sit down and lure other minors in, right? And we're staying at that. If you were 21 and you really got lured, it sucks to be you. But if you were under 21 and you really got lured, then Debbie Cook, that was targeting teenagers that liked them young, literally in her office, Emma and Tanya, the other one, Tanya, was from Sweden, you guys. Imagine that. Debbie Cook had one from Sweden. Oh, and my friend Haley from Canada, too. That was another minor that she did, use as a runner here and there. So all manner of pretty girls would end up working for Debbie Cook and doing her bidding, the big executive that she was. And then she would staff with good-looking people, good-looking minors that could, be told to sell the scam to other minors. Because if I'm doing it, you should really want to do it too. It's all just like, if the Joneses are doing it, then the other ones should also do it too. Next, we have Department of Communications. And let's not overlook the significance of the Department of Communications, you guys, given that the Department of Communications is what makes all these people have their credibility and their plausible deniability shredded AF. Like this. We like confetti, because guess what, you guys? In Department 1 is where all the KRs go. And if y'all don't know what the KRs is, if you're just joining us about all this bullshit cult euphemisms, here's how you spell it. KR. Knowledge report. Danny Masterson was having an out-to-D the other night. They were having a party, and then he did have an out-to-D, and he did go to a jacuzzi, and then he did leave the jacuzzi, and then the girl did go with him to the bedroom, and then I heard this, and then I heard that, and then I did this, and then I did that. Right, Luke Watson? Time, place, form, and event of every last shred of criminal activity is going into the middle of that yellow division, you guys. So where you see the division 1 and you see the yellow is right there. Communications department, they keep track of all of these. Okay. So every single time that anything happens anywhere inside those hotels or outside, like in Danny's house, a few blocks away from Cece, here's the report. Here's my other report. Make sure you write it up. I mean, that's literally a word that they're using all the time. Did you write it up? Oh, why don't you just write it up? Well, we should just really write this up. Well, as long as you write it up, so everything just literally magically gets so organized the minute you incriminate yourself by writing it down. On this Friday night, this girl came to the party, and then she was drunk, and then I saw somebody put something in her drink, and then I don't know what in the hell happened, and this is true, and here's my KR. Here you go, Division 1. And there's Division 1, Miranda Scoggins and Julian Schwartz. They're not on the communication side, because they're just sort of like, more like administratively shuffling everything. Because don't forget that these people are so scared. I mean, gee, I wonder why. So scared that people grab a hold of those documents. Very sensitive, very confidential. So they want everything in writing and they don't want anything in servers. They're very pressed about their servers, you guys. They have top security securing the servers as if the CIA and the FBI are going to check on it tomorrow, as if they give a shred of an F. But you know what? They are prepared. So good luck to y'all at the FBI. You're not going to get anywhere by checking anything in servers, because everything is written in paper, just like the documents of Mar-a-Lago case, right, guys? Just like that, literally everything in writing, everything very confidential. No one must see this ever, because this is very incriminating. So let's not incriminate ourselves. If we can all just write it in a KR that we have knowledge of something, never mind that, including but not limited to Class A felonies, and including but not limited to communications by computer. Hello, RTC. I'm literally very aware of a felony that just took place last Saturday at this house with this Scientologist and with this other one Scientologist that was there. They were engaging in this, they were engaging in that. Okay, ting ting sent. Okay, I wrote it up. And now is here in this middle section that you guys see being sent to an ethics officer. So bingo, to the next division where Miranda Scoggins and Julian Schwartz are posted for 2 decades plus. And in this division, you guys, here's where all the dirty, horrific, most disgusting, most depraved, most outrageous things end up. And, shout out to you, Debbie Cook, that did take it upon yourself to mostly staff your Division 1 with minors. Remember how many ethics officers were turned into minors? You're just, Julian, come here. Bring Caneta, come here. Crazy Varsenas, come here. Alfonso Varsenas Jr., come here. Jasmine Arellano, come here. Jasmine Dunham Arellano. Becky Hughes, go to ethics. Laura FM, go to be an ethics officer too. You too, go get Grant Cardone's ethics in, is what Laura was told. Bring Caneta. I mean, so many, you guys. Lily, there was this Lily Alvarez, this other girl, all under literally 18. We're not even talking 21. Literally under 18. Tasked to handle all the Class A felonies that were coming up in the ethics interviews that they were also being groomed by Marty Rathbun to conduct in his sec checker school that he ran for almost a year at the FSO. He would only show up to start the evolution, you guys, but Marty was so lazy that then he would just take it upon himself to go sleep in and put someone else to run the sec checker school, but it was still his program, his thing. So, at the beginning, everybody acted really pressed, and then it would just kind of slack around. But that's where all of these minors were being grabbed a doll and go, hi, you see this doll? Interrogate that doll. Drill it, and then have this other person act out like they're the public, the grown man and grown women that really do get off getting handled by kids. The grown men and women that do think it's utterly acceptable beyond to lock themselves up with a kid and really write literally OWs, right? Scientologist, where you literally go, I masturbated thinking of this, doing this with this oil and this computer, and then I went and watched this this porn, and then I also watch that porn, and then I also watch this kind of porn and that kind of porn, and da 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 da. And here's the 15-year-old. Oh yeah, I'm done writing all the disgusting depravities. Can my needle float? So literally, that is what L. Ron Hubbard pitched. This is what all of our parents, literally said. What a great idea. Why don't you go sign up to be part of that? So we're going to stop at that division, you guys, because I think we got so many more to go. And I want you to digest this slowly. There's so much to literally discuss. We need some rose water now. So nice. You guys ever use it? It's so refreshing and nice. It literally clears the air and removes the stink. So what have we learned today, you guys? Oh, before we do that, let me go through your comments and your questions real quick, since you've been so active today. I've seen so many of you. Hi, Amy. Hi, Sarita. Hi, Wonder Woman. Howdy from Texas. Oh, well, shout out to us from Texas, Wonder Woman. My grandma was from Texas, so I consider myself sort of from Texas, even though I'm not from Texas. Lara FM, hi. Yes. Hi, Jane. Hi, Caroline. Hi, Melissa. Clearwater Cheryl. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. Angie B, how are you? Christian B. Thank you. Oh, thank you, Christian B. Sticky note refund. Yes. We are running out, you guys. But look, we want to thank Goldie that did send us this. But I thought it was gonna last a long time. And check this out. This is just literally in the last few, you guys. We're keeping our notes, to really fan ourselves. So thank you so much for the sticky note fund. I really appreciate it, Christian. That's sweet. Carrie Ann. Thank you, Carrie Ann. So sorry that happened to you, Serge. Absolutely. Well, none of us wanted to live through that hell, but we appreciate your guys' compassion and empathy and listening so much. Likey. Yeah, if any of you guys have not liked the video, please like it, subscribe, and do all of that YouTube pitch that we're so sick of hearing. Right, guys? I'm so sick of hearing and like and subscribe and check it out and blah. So, definitely like and subscribe though, but it gets a little rote sometimes. Martha Simmons, question, Serge, how old was your abuelita when COS committed the crime against her? Well, my grandma actually had my mom very young. So she was actually super young. I think she was like mid-50s when she died. So she wasn't even that much of a senior. I mean, I don't even think she could be considered a senior citizen, actually, right? I think the senior citizen is after 60. So yeah, she unfortunately died young, but I am very, very grateful for the time that I did spend with her. And she's a big reason that I'm showing up on her behalf and to defend her dignity that she didn't have a shred of a chance to do for herself. And her ashes is just thrown to the ocean and nobody knows anything about her anymore. But you know what? I do. And I do know who did this to her, calling Debbie Cook. Stop cashing checks. Turn yourself to the FBI. Tell them what in the hell you were doing. And maybe you will see the road to redemption there at the FBI headquarters. Hello, FBI. Hi. Yeah, I've been catching a lot of checks, but you know what? My conscience did catch up to me. And I did tell all these kids to be accountable and responsible and make amends. And I'm ready to make mine, because that would be the day. I will let you guys know if she does do that ever. But in the meantime, she's been put on full notice that we know what in the hell she did. And we know what her reckless negligence at best did. And that's just one example. That's just my example, you guys. And we're going to be having an interview coming up with more senior abuse. Let's just put it that way. Let's just go through these comments quickly before we end. Abdaso, gibberish. Yes, thank you. It was all jibber jabber, word salad, good for nothing, and unfortunately that's part of the horrible, joke that all of these people are literally not able to think. Martha Simmons, unreasonableness equals no critical thinking. Yeah. And unfortunately, Martha, inside those hotels, and again, we couldn't be more nauseous having to make these points, you guys, but inside those hotels, people are punished for thinking critically. Whenever somebody comes to their senses and says, no, this is too much, this is not okay, they get in trouble. So they need our advocacy just as much. Every last shred of our 1 Harvard protege needs to be advocated for. We need to advocate on their behalf because they're not well in the head. They're very, very not well at all. And here we have Renee B. Serge, I was listening to your video and I fell asleep. I had such a nightmare. What you're sharing is even upsetting to the unconscious mind. Oh my God, Renee, sorry. We didn't mean to give you a nightmare. And I understand you guys. Like I said at the beginning of all my videos, these subjects are triggering, but know that we are lovingly supported, lovingly taken care of. We have an oxygen mask. I'm not going to lie and say this is not hard work to do. And, it causes me a lot of anxiety and all of these emotions, but, we're all having to show up for victims because that's what this is about, is to advocate for people that don't have a voice. So today I got to honor my grandma yet again by calling out the corruption and the injustice that was perpetrated on her so many decades ago that everybody forgot that she even existed, right? So yes, it's sad, it's unthinkable, but I realized that I'm only speaking from my own family's experience, and then we multiply that by all the other families that have horrific examples of that level of dysfunction all over themselves. And again, right, if we don't discuss it, then it doesn't stop. So our job is to be able to discuss it and hold space and continue to demand accountability, continue to go to the FDLE page on Instagram and ask questions. I don't see any of you guys going over there, so maybe you're not on Instagram, which I get. But if you do feel like going to Instagram, check out the FDLE page, because the Florida Department of Law Enforcement is the one that really need to, enforce something to live out to their name. Because right about now, the Florida Department of not enforcing a shred of a law when it has to do with senior abuse or child abuse. Sorry, you just have to answer a quick text, guys. Stolen Valor, CMBX, absolutely. More Money was a great In Living Color skit. I never watched it because we weren't allowed to really watch TV, but I'm sure it was. Thank you, Willie. Renee, question, Serge. How do you stay so strong? I tolerate my childhood trauma because I've attached from those memories. It's like a movie. Well, thank you, Renee. I mean, look, it's all relative. Strength is relative, right? Like you said, I've been able to detach from a lot of this trauma. So I think that's part of it. I'm able to understand it intellectually. I understand that none of this was my fault. And I also understand that none of it is the fault of the people that are doing it, even the clowns, even the executives. Like, they're all under the influence of something, you guys. So this is not that, cookie cutter case that the corporate media always puts out about once upon a time there was a really evil person that did a lot of evil things for themselves, and then nobody had a shred of a clue, and then nobody could catch him, and then we just caught him and bye-bye. This is a horrific circus of enablers. I mean, literally, the title of our video today is Behind Every Predator, a Circus of Scientology Enablers. And we just started to show you guys an insight of what that circus looks like, from Debbie Cook, the ringleader of all of these predator enablers, that she was recruiting for herself, that she was posting for herself, that she was telling them to do that L. Ron Hubbard hat. So it's kind of just really understanding it at this level, and then having y'all that are tuning in to these unthinkable conversations. So I couldn't thank you enough for having the ability to hold space for the truth, because that's what all victims and advocates need, right? It's like, we are not asking for a handout. We're not asking for pity. We're not asking for, oh my God, I'm poor me. No, we're asking for accountability, transparency, and we're asking for the literal spines to start showing up. So we did find one here, you guys. Now we have one spine. Let's see how many more spines we can install by the time that we're done with every kid out of that hotel. Thank you, Peace Lady. Your purpose is vibrant and strong. Keep it up. The Church of Scientology will fall one day. Well, absolutely, Peace Lady. Thank you for that. More than falling, you guys, it just needs to be exposed, right? Because there's nowhere for them to fall to. They're literally at the lowest of the lowest. So, but no, I get what you're saying, Peace Lady. But I'm just saying that how low can you go is really what the question is right now. How literally low can anyone possibly ever go? And here, another one. Thank you, Martha. Thank you, Grounded in Truth. Thank you, Mary. I have some here. You guys have so many fun conversations. I love seeing this. Goldie's in the house. And here for Mary. Oh my God, what the hell kind of organization makes sure its policies are followed exactly? They don't even do that at the hospital from Pacific Time. Seriously. I mean, you guys, like, the level of policy adoption, making sure that, because in there, as long as you're following an L. Ron Hubbard policy, you're told that everything's going to be fine. And then if anything goes wrong, it's because you didn't apply a policy. So the policies could not be more nauseatingly pervasive up and down the whole ladder of abuse. And that's what's dictating the dysfunction, right? Because again, what were Debbie Cook's actual scruples? We will never know, because she checked them out at the door. So now she spent 17 years doing policy adoptions. And never mind that, again, you guys, as of her last public statement, Debbie Cook had not a shred of an idea that anything she did there was wrong. The only thing Debbie Cook ever spoke about was about how, what was it that she said on the stand, you guys? Something about how, she would have signed that she liked to kill babies and liked it and loved it, if just to get out of her situation. But never mind that she wasn't doing that to babies, killing them, literally, putting them in a coffin. But, there's plenty of minors that were exposed to her horrific, disgusting policy implementations that have ended up in a coffin. So that was also a very interesting statement and word choice that was not followed up by anybody about what Debbie Cook blabbed for herself on the literal stand, you guys. I mean, out of everything you could have said, Debbie Cook, you really went for, I would have signed that I killed babies and I loved it. Never mind that. Actually, you guys, I take it back. How many literal guys? I can't. I have to. How many of those happened because of you, Debbie Cook? Because I think you did do this right here for many girls, and we're going to start bringing some up that have already been contacting us about what you were doing to them, that you did this. So actually, on the literal witness stand, you guys, Debbie Cook is already seen to be saying that, the whole truth and nothing but the truth was that. Henny, sir, do you think that she knows exposure for her knowledge and participation is not known? So you think she cares? Well, Henny, this is the thing about the law, right? Is all of these people that have knowledge of criminal activity can go get themselves a damn deal of a lifetime, right? Like the FBI is not going to go, we're going to really put you in handcuffs because you really did show up at our footstep and we really do care about doing. That's not how law enforcement works. Apparently, they only work on things that are really pressing matters right now. Never mind that, even though the FBI has had all manner of front row seat at the dysfunction, still has not taken it upon themselves to investigate, to go ask Debbie Cook some questions. Hi, Debbie Cook. Where were all the minors being brought? Who's Tanya? Hi, Debbie Cook. How old was Tanya? Hi, Debbie Cook. How old was Emma? Hi, Debbie Cook. How old was Savannah Royce? How many outer or trainees were minors inside of those hotels? So those are the questions that need to be asked of Debbie Cook. And that's the kind of information she should start putting forward for herself. I mean, maybe Debbie Cook thinks she's like, Ghislaine Maxwell on steroids. So she's going, even though I spend my entire life defrauding people into incriminating themselves, now would be the really good time to invoke my Fifth Amendment right and not incriminate myself. Right, guys? So I don't know if that answered your question, but it kind of went to the point, I think. Maybe you can keep your head up without your spine, walking in circles looking for pockets to mine. That's a very good line. We should use that, you guys. How are you going to line those pockets? Get that money. Get that money. $100,000. More. Get us more. We need more. This is your quota. This is what you really need to give us. Question. Can you say what in the literal hell deadpan style? What do you mean deadpan? What in the literal hell? I don't know. Is that deadpan? I don't know, you guys. Sometimes I don't understand some of the English things that get said. Question. I invite all second generations to make Why We Protest great again at ESMB. You will get a lot of politics and hate on gays and transsexuals. Yeah, I mean, thank you, Cornelius, for your suggestion. I mean, I'll talk to the other kids. We have some ideas about how we want to do this, but, we're not in a hurry either. So we're just right now stewing, right? We're just like stewing, stirring the pot and, making our chicken soup. That is going to take a little while to, get it all in there. But thanks for the suggestion. More than just a dream. Is it not the nature of the cult to practice mind control and no critical thinking skills? Well, yeah, I mean, the mind control happens as a result of them teaching them all the stupid euphemisms that mean nothing, and again, that's very much how these traffickers work. They create a lingo for themselves, they groom the victim on that lingo, and then they break their spine, and then the lingo becomes so familiar to the people that are going to get abused. And going back to the example of my grandma, for example, that's why when Debbie Cook was telling her, you really do need to find your PTSness while you're roller coastering as a result of getting stage 4 cancer. I mean, my grandma knew what Debbie Cook was saying, but she didn't understand that Debbie Cook was abusing her and giving her bad medical advice. Literally, without a shred of a certificate, Debbie Cook was there giving her opinion. So I don't know if that kind of makes it understandable, because again, it's like you fall under the spell of this language and all of these stupid things that try to replace anything medically wrong that goes with you and anything legally. So they're practicing medicine without a license. They're practicing literally law without a license. They just literally have no shred of bounds in there. Comment, don't be reasonable. You're being reasonable. It's not okay. Exactly. That's exactly how they say it. You're being suppressive reasonableness, guys. I mean, that's when they really want to dig into you. And then they add the word suppressive, because you know how they had us all scared about suppressive? That's kind of the thing. So, more than just a dream. It sounds like the Stanford prison experiment, in which the guards become extremely cruel to the prisoners. Yeah, I mean, it's all an exercise in depersonalization and disassociation. And I did have something on my live yesterday that we spoke to Christy Gordon from Children of Scientology to discuss this. And then tomorrow we're going to have a panel of betrayal blindness, you guys, because again, all of these people literally poked their eyes out and couldn't be more blind. In Theta, comment, I wrote a KR on COB and DCA CC int before I left to Los Angeles. Good. I'm sure that KR got shredded, because that's the thing they do, guys. I mean, they get all these reports and they only act on the convenient reports, right? Like literally, like if something is inconvenient, then yes, they're going to act on it. But if something is like, no, this actually is calling out our stuff, then they just play dumb. So they just do whatever is convenient, below with the literal wind. So nice to have some rose water. Let me see. Almost done with the comments, you guys. Unstoppable. Hi, I was Division 5 TTC. Well, thank you for sharing that with us, Unstoppable. Thank you for sharing that with us, because I mean, I don't know how old you were, but TTC, you guys meant that people that were gonna be trained. So that was that division, and we'll get into that one later as we discuss. Grounded in truth. Rico, Rico, Rico. Que rico, que rico. Racketeering. That's exactly what it is, you guys. Let me go. Chris Londo, outside of the horrifying stuff that happened, what favorite memories do you have? Favorite memories? I mean, it's a period of my life that's filled with so much betrayal and, abuse. Chris, I would guess maybe the thing would be to, the connection that I did get from friends that I'm still in touch with, that I've lived to tell. I'm grateful that we have each other and we get it. So maybe that could be something I could be grateful about in there. But, you know, a lot of us are still pissed AF that our entire formative years we spend getting scammed and lied to. So thank you, Borderline, for your super sticker. Very nice. Thank you so much. Hi, Kate. Sorry to hear that, Serge. Loved for you and your grandma. Yes. Thank you, Kay. Absolutely. Renee V. Serge, do people truly say people wanted to drop the body when they have a terminal illness and haven't been encouraged to seek treatment? Absolutely. I mean, you know, that's what's so dangerous about this, you guys, because you know, drop the body is just like any old saying. And, you know, people really get told that, you know, they're not their body. Don't be a body. Like literally in the tone scale, L. Ron Hubbard says being a body is like literally below death. So you might as well be dead, and that would be better than you being a body. So it's all very sick and twisted and just ridiculous. You know, that's why it's like it's hard to even sometimes explain or entertain these questions, because I feel like a lot of the narratives sometimes, especially with Scientology people, it's like they really try to explain to you all these things that are just pathetic, ridiculous ramblings of an indicted felon. It's like, do we really need to understand the intricate details? But it definitely helps with the context. So I'm always happy to answer. Ask me anything. AMA. Sir Dilmar, we know about your grandma now. She will not be forgotten. Keep telling us about her. Well, thank you, Marta. I appreciate that. Absolutely. We will continue marching to that beat. Question: how long did it take you for you to wake up and leave? How long was it the process from questioning to actually getting out? And love from UK, Serge. Thank you, Borderline. How long did it take me to wake up and leave? I only left the full-blown bubble and understood that it was all a scam in 2015, and I think I was like 30, like 37. So it was sort of like a horrific midlife crisis of sorts, waking up. Nisa, you don't think the FBI is not you don't think the FBI is not investigating Scientology? I don't think they are going to let them get away with anything. Or you can go to them and tell your story. Thank you, Nisa, for that. I mean, maybe they are investigating, you guys. I mean, they're not going to call up and tell us, oh, yeah, Serge, YouTuber of the year that you are. We are really doing this. I mean, as if they're going to come and tell us what they're doing, right? We don't know. But, you know, I've been out, like we said, 2015, and we haven't had a shred of a whiff that anything for any minor is stopping anytime soon. So if we don't see the evidence that anyone is doing a shred of a thing, we cannot keep on the sidelines just hoping that somebody really will figure out all the things that are. I mean, you see how many weeds we need to get into, you guys. Like, this is not a simple subject. It is simple. We need to simplify it because it is simple. The racketeering scheme is simple AF. It couldn't be more unsophisticated. It couldn't be more rote. It couldn't be more stupid and robotic. I mean, shout out to L. Ron Hubbard, who literally left us a blueprint of criminal complicity so that it would be very organized. But, you know, as long as these authorities just pretend that they don't understand a shred of a thing, well, you know, and how are they going to get eyes inside of there? You know, I mean, never mind that if any investigative reporters like the Tampa Bay Times in 50 plus years, you would have thought that they would have had a shred of reporter with some actual huevos. I don't know if you guys know what that is, but that is testicles. If they would have had that, they would have gone in there like Reckless Ben with some little goggles and check it out for themselves, right? Because like in our other life, that guy was going on and on and on about how we don't even know what in the hell we're talking about, because the media is really having a really hard time. For 73 years they can't figure out anything out. But investigations happen when people care, and dots are connected when people care. Doesn't mean that it's not a lot of heavy lifting. There's a ton of heavy lifting to do. So it's okay, you guys. It's part of the process to out these systems, because again, these systems are not just exclusive to Scientology. There's all manner of scams, scamming kids. We know about all of the teenage, schools that are also, run by abusive, deranged people that abuse, the troubled teens, like Paris Hilton is actually going to Congress and changing laws so that they cannot be running those scams of schools, where again, there's no supervision. Adults run unhinged programs on kids, torture them, beat them, interrogate them, treat them, dehumanize them in every last shred way possible. And that's what we're calling out today. We're calling out all of those adult abusers that really thought to themselves, I'm a big teacher here in this troubled teen, whatever in the hell place I am, and I really want to make a difference in the world by abusing kids. Well, you know what? You're not making a shred of difference. You're just making things worse for everybody the more you abuse kids. Because look what happened to abuse kid of the millennia, Danny Masterson. That was not only just part of the Scientology cult, also Hollywood cult. Double whammy there. How did they pay you the $50 a week? Did you get a W-2 or a 1099? No, it was a W-2, I believe. I mean, I think that's what you called it. They took the taxes out of the $50. They wouldn't even give us the $50, you guys. They would literally be like, oh, here's your $50. But then sometimes it was 44, and then sometimes it was like 46. And then it was just so ridiculous. Thank you guys. So much support in your comments. Oh, thank you, Ingrid. Tissue fun. Grandmas always have tissues. Yay. Well, tissues and Post-its. Yeah. This one from More Than Just a Dream. It reminds me of the Nazi guards just saying, I was just following orders. This is exactly what this is, you guys. Is as sick and depraved as that. And it's true that I would never compare my experience to what happened in there. But I will say you that they put us in gaslighting chambers. Those literal auditing sessions where we as kids were being abused in unthinkable ways. That was gaslighting chambers. That's what these people were into. So different, but very similar to, yeah, everybody just follows an order, be completely deranged, and as long as everyone's doing it, everything's going to be okay. Well, no. Case in the house. Thank you, my friend. Absolutely crushing it, even when it's tough to do. Thank you, Kay. Well, again, you guys, the strength and the shout out goes to y'all, because you're all the ones that are sitting here, listening, holding space, and getting informed. And the more we know, the better we can act, all of us. Hi, Candy. They don't know how to speak the truth and nothing but the truth. Oh, yeah, that's when I was talking about, Debbie Cook, Woman of the Year, that really did talk about, she would have signed that she loved to, what, to babies, and loved it. Unthinkable. Can the FBI give some immunity to testify? Well, yeah, that's exactly what we're saying here. I'm sure that all of these people, you guys, I mean, imagine if every last shred of executive that has left these hotels all showed up, all 40, 50, 100, 200 of them that are out there purporting that they don't have a shred of a clue what went on, and that they are the victims. Imagine if all of they actually grew some, you know exactly what in the hell we mean, and would knock on those doors of law enforcement and would go to the Clearwater Police and would actually be part of the solution. But so far they just want to be part of the problem, you guys. They literally just love being a problem. Martha, question for anyone at Flag. Were Dan and Tekla Ulrich members? They lived in Tampa. I wonder for years because I went to school. They ran in Tampa. Ulrich sounds like a name that I remember, but I don't know who you're referring to, so I wouldn't be able to say yes or no. Case in the house. Horrible Jenny the Vog Lindstrom, the absolute yes. Jenny the Vogt and Angie Blankenship and literally Debbie Cook and Lori Englehart. We're going to try and get more photos of these women, you guys, so we can start putting photos to the names and we all understand who in the hell they are so they can start actually speaking for themselves. Because you know what? It's time for them to get confronted. It's time for them to literally confront their overs and their withholds committed against children and women and seniors and everyone else. Almost done, you guys. When did I leave Flag? I think I saw you at Flag. Oh, really? I left Flag in 2004, I believe, August 2004. Unstoppable. So, yeah, you can reach me at sergedelmar@proton.me. And if you think we know each other and if you'd like to speak out and talk to people, you are welcome to do that. I saw the question about the COVID shots. Sorry, I have no idea. The COVID shots are definitely past my time. Martha, when did you take up dance? I've given up dancing and those stilettos 20 years ago. You're an amazing dancer artist. Oh, thank you, Martha. I picked it up when I left in 2015. So I was really depressed and literally you know what I mean. I was just really there, and flexibility and movement. I always wanted to be a dancer since I was a kid. Actually, I remember seeing my mom did like ballet for a few. She never had any flexibility, and she didn't do it seriously like Laura's mom, for example. Like Laura's mom was a professional ballerina, but my mom just had some cool photos of her as a ballet dancer, and I always danced as a kid. That was probably like the best part of my disassociation to really survive. So anyways, all right, you guys, well, that is all your questions. Thank you for all your questions. We got through 3 of the departments of how this organized, actually 2 of the departments of how this organized crime organization is working. We're going to continue exposing every last shred of detail, and we're going to continue demanding answers from those people that are literally cricketing around and playing dumb and thinking that, no one will ever say a thing. Because this next week, I have some really important interviews from people that are, being inspired to come forward, you guys. And that is what this is all about, including tomorrow. We have a really special interview that I'm going to be doing with someone that was with me in those hotels, that knows Debbie Cook really well. And, there's just a lot of us that went through it. And, the more people that gain their voice, if nothing we do in these lives, but inspire others to be able to have a voice and to be able to tell their truth and call out and, hold space and grace for, you know, anyone else in their family like mine that was abused, then we're all doing what we were meant to do, right? I mean, that's already a gift that you can never repay. So you guys are already giving us that type of gift that we could never repay by showing up and listening to us and paying attention and becoming informed. So the more we know, the more we can be calling out these corrupt systems that are only alive because of the darkness. So let's all just be sunlight and disinfect AF every last shred of contamination that is percolating in the air. I love you all. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all extremely soon. Bye bye.